here is the Himalayan Times. We're gonna have after this small congratulations. We're gonna have some interviews. And please, I would like to invite you to come here, please, Mani. I just wanted to go. Actually, I want to do the cloud. I have. Sanjay, please. Please have a seat.
Thank you.
I'm going to speak 2 minutes about it and then start it. We met in Tamil, yeah, and after that she was continually with connection, yeah, and through Facebook and Instagram, and yeah, in the same time, RD, my brother, and Durga Vista, they were doing GST for 63 days from Kanjanga to Rolling Valley. Yeah? So I would just like somehow posting some pictures, even I'm not been there myself, you know. So constantly she was like watching, and you know, she was dreaming too much about it. Yeah, and then so she just like decided to do GST this time, but with another company from Pokhara. Yeah? So it was just like, I just this morning I saw 26 March I was doing a press meet and taking initiation from Nepal. She was going to start her trek from Kanchenjunga section. So from that, I think that was in mid of or end of April. I think I got a call, one call from Lumba Sumba base camp or somewhere.
Yeah.
That was a satellite phone, eh? There was a call from her that she had a problem with the first group, yeah? And then they couldn't pass because of too much snow, and she had to back. And there was a one biggest. Actually, I was like constantly, I was finding out the manpower, the people who are already done like GST, you know, the guide. You know, Hansen say, Nepal, please. Nepal चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ उ छैन कि manpower GST गरेको manpower गरेको मान्छेहरु चाहिँ छैन. Because of the big season, high season, most of the people are in expedition. All of the mountains were climbing, you know. Same time, Mary got the problem, and then we had to reset. We had to find out the right person, and that was Sanjeev Gurung that I did mention already, you know. I'm just walai pai, and then I just did work as a bridge rower. I didn't do anything just actually, but it was like it was amazing that I could help her, you know, and to find out the right person to complete her dream. I'm very happy and very glad to congratulations, you know, just like it's a very great opportunity, you know. You are still here in Nepal, and tomorrow she is leaving Kathmandu, yeah. So it's amazing. 26 March ma chai मैले press meet gare, and today is 10th August. Just how wonderful days she had been, or sad days or good days always. So please, Mari, I invite you, just like tell share your story, and if you have anything else like about people, culture, adventure, you know, and how you do, like, you know, what are you gonna tell to your people in Switzerland? Yeah, we are very curious about it, and this will make like very big impact for 2020, Vision Nepal 2020. Yeah, so I'm very sorry I couldn't have bring many people because of very emergency. Yeah, sorry.
Important, sorry.
Yeah, please, Mari, please have just have to some words.
2 hours, 3 hours, how long?
We can have 2 hours.
Amazing porters, two are here, Kamsun and Aitaram, and without them also it's impossible to do this. So I was very, very lucky that you know these people, that you had this connection, and without you, this dream would be not possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I was reading about this GHT, the Great Himalayan Trail, in the internet, and about the high route. And when I was reading about it, I was like, I have to do this. This was like always in my mind. Yeah, when I was working, I suddenly, when everybody leaves, I went to the computer and checking and the information, and daily, it was my daily, how to say, business, yeah, about researching about the Great Himalayan Trail. And a good friend of me, maybe some of you know it, Evelyn Winsack, she was the first Swiss woman on Everest. I was talking with her, and she said to me, Maria, this is not a joke. It's not just a trekking, 2-3 weeks. It will take you 100 days, maybe more. So think clearly about it. And if you go there, you have to face this Great Himalayan Trail with a lot of respect. Respect to the mountains, respect to the peoples who are living there, the locals in all these regions, and respect to your guide and to the porters. And there are two ways. You come to Nepal, you have the money, you pay it, and you go there. You go on a peak, or you do the GHT. And for the GHT, I think it needs, or we see that it needs time, if you want to do it in one season, and of course money. But in the end, I got something that is unpayable. You cannot pay it, this experience, to walk this in one season. So, and then I was thinking in Switzerland, yes, I have this time. And
you can sit.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
You were standing. So I have this time, and lucky I have this money. And then it was like not, I can go to Kathmandu, fly to Kathmandu and just do it and pay for it. So I came by bicycle from Switzerland. I arrived to do the GHT. It was my big dream, my goal, and for me it has something to do with respect to this mountain, to the people, like I said. So I started in front of my home door with my bicycle, and I cycled for 1 year to Kathmandu. And there were 15,000 kilometers, and I thought it made me a little bit fit, for that, to walk. But when I was in China, I realized, oh my God, I was cycled for 1 year. This is different muscles than you need for the walking, so I did 1 month intensive training in China in a Shaolin temple, Kung Fu, and stretching and all this time, these things, and I was ready. And that was what Evelyn told, you have to go with respect. So I arrived in Nepal, I could do it, I could manage it with my own muscles, to come here, to arrive in front of my dream. And then after 2-3 weeks I had these big problems with this group. And I always say it needs 2 people that this problem can happen. So I also did mistakes. I didn't know my guide before. I didn't talk to him, only in the internet. So I did also mistakes. And then, lucky I found you, Sanjeev. And I mean, you have a family. You have a 4-month-old daughter. And I know this is different in our culture and in the culture in Nepal, but you left your home for 3-4 months. You were not at home, traveling with a single girl in the mountains. So that is a lot of respect I would like to say you, because this is not normal for us. Yeah, we started, and like this is when you feel like she's living her dream. This is like, wow, everything is nice and it's beautiful and it's a lot of happiness to live a dream. But I realized when I walked, for example, let's say in the region Jumla, in a very remote area, no tourists, we stayed sometimes in families, and I asked in a family, where is the toilet? And they watched me, staring at me. We don't have a toilet. You go to the garden or behind the house. And I know that people are living without toilets in this world, but I never came in this situation that I had to go to the garden. And I realized
I just walking here through these families, these houses, these villages. I just can live my dream, but they have no option to leave. Back to this Lumba Sumba, we were walking 1 week in the jungle, and it was raining, heavy raining every day. My shoes were completely wet, and I said, Sanjeev, I just can't now. I'm tired, I fed up. And he said, you are so close to your goal. Now keep on going. We go now. So this is also life teaching. Yeah, I will keep this for my life at home. When I have to go away to a goal, and maybe I'm tired or I cannot, then I will remember this situation. Keep on going. Try it. Yeah, don't give up. So we were walking and we did this Lumba Sumba. We turned and we went to the Makalu base camp, and then my shoes were wet, and I said, I don't know if we can do this high passes, Sherpanikol, Westkol, and Nampulapza with these wet shoes. It's getting frozen. We will manage. And then we went to Sherpanikol, Westkol. Everything was fine, and Westkol, I really would like to tell you this.
Please take.
This was something that it shocked me. We were rappelled down from the Westkol, these 300 meters. First, our brilliant porter Kamsun went down, then the luggage, and then was Aitaram's turn. And there was a big rock fall down on Aitaram, and he hit him on the legs and the hips and the stomach. And we let him down, and he was sitting in the snow and shaking, and he couldn't even talk because it was so painful for him. Yeah. So the heli rescue was not possible because of the weather.
Yeah.
And we had there a really problem, but Sanjeev, you managed it really good. We gave him some painkiller, and I just realized that
trail Nepal section of त्यो tough trek wale garnubo one shot ma. Just to I'm saying we have 10 section. So if you want to do one section in 1 year, you can come and do that. And next year doing like this. Yeah? But she is the only one person who just did in one season was ekachoti cross garnubo. That's tough, and we're very lucky because Nepal got already branded. We have a manpower, we have porters, amazing porters.
Yeah.
We have the trekker who already know all the challenges who is coming every day in their life, and I'm very happy to somebody is doing I mean just like a surprise for me, and happy to give this message to Nepal tourism 2020 को लागि चाहिँ हामीले एउटा benefit भनौं न. Let's do promote for GST also, not like and then एउटा यस्तो interesting छ यसमा चाहिँ फेरि geographically she did touch all the section of Nepal east to west. तर अब उसको लागि new challenges भनेको चाहिँ how she going to touch the souls of people. Same thing like Tony Hagen, the guy for tourists who came in Nepal, and he traveled 14,000 kilometers, right? But she is from also Switzerland, who just very lucky, luckily saying she is here, who is just doing GST. So I would really advise to Miss Maria for the next step is like you have to come back, you have to see the people, you have to touch people's heart. Yeah, that's a very important. And this is how like people who come in Nepal, they came here to change the people. But in fact, they are changing themselves, and they give up life in West, and they live here entire their life. Because Nepal, we have the diversity, and it's never ending. It's never finished to understand and study about Nepal. People here are from Nepal. Yeah? So these are important things for her lesson. And I'm very grateful that I could do some message to the whole that Nepal.
Similarities and differences between Switzerland, land, tourism, and our, in your experience?
It's a good question. Thank you. Yeah, of course, when we look at the nature, similar is the mountains. Yeah, are the mountains. We have mountains, the Alps, but of course not in this altitude. And I think what similar is the hospitality. I saw this in all the sections, yeah, on the Great Himalayan Trail. The people are very friendly and open. And maybe there is a bit of difference, because in Nepal, the hospitality comes very quick, yeah. It is like we walk and the people like, come, yeah. And maybe this is one thing we can learn about Nepal. Maybe we are in this part a bit more shy, maybe, yeah. We look first and we try to really ask in a very, very, very friendly way, but not, you're, I think, more like open, yeah, like, come, have a tea, have chai, yeah, Muslims, huh? And this is one thing we can learn, but I think this is very similar, the hospitality. For us, it's very important when the tourists come to Switzerland, of course, that they come back, that they say, we met nice people, we will come back to Switzerland. This is one thing is similar. What is the difference? The big difference? Yeah, of course, the tourists who are coming to Switzerland, they spend a lot of money. Everything is very expensive. I have to say, also in the tourist region in Nepal, a Coke is expensive, but I can understand why, because the people have to carry it to these places. So this Coke is not just there, yeah? It has to come there. Yeah. Is that the answer of your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next.
Picture experience made in Great Himalayan Trek.
There are like two different experiences. There's the experience, like I told before, with the people, with the locals, like the experience in this family where I asked for the toilet and they just said, we don't have a toilet. You go in the garden,
Nature, yeah.
in the nature. As I said before, I know that people live without toilet, but I never touched this so close. And that really made me to think that I should be so lucky. Then there was one day, it was my birthday, and it was a really, excuse me for this, a shitty day. It was like this. We were walking in the jungle the whole day. I was completely wet everywhere, full of lychees.
Yeah.
And I was so finished in this evening, and we find a little hut where we could stay inside. There were no people, and it was dusty, it was muddy, it was really not nice. And I thought, and this on my birthday, it made me a bit angry, yeah. But the guys that they made Kamsun make very good magebut for me. Magebut, very good. And then I realized when I was lying on my mattress, actually I'm the luckiest girl in this world. I can see, I have a good body, I'm healthy, I can hear, I can think. So why I complain about the weather and the lychees and the wet shoes? I'm actually just the luckiest girl. I can live my dream here. So that was one thing. This is a big message also for in Switzerland. When I have speeches, I think also in the schools especially, that we can be lucky to go to school and have a good,
So while being on those great Himalayan, did you ever feel that perhaps I couldn't go more ahead than this?
Yeah.
Perhaps this is my very vulnerable experience.
I had this many times that I want to give up, but I don't give up because this is not my character. I really, when I start something, I want to reach this goal. And I think it's important when, I know this before I started, there will be difficult situations. I come to this situation, and when I go through this, and I will come out, and when I'm here, I'm stronger, because this difficult situation makes me stronger. But important is to go through it. And I have to say, alone, in this situation, I could not manage. So there were you, Sanjeev, who said, yeah, then you take off the shoes, you take off the socks, and we put it in the sleeping bag for 10 minutes, and then we continue. Then you will have warm again. And I said many times to Sanjeev, oh, I just can't. I'm just so finished. And then he said, you have to. Yeah, so simple. You have to. And without him and without the porters, that people are living without toilets in this world, but I never came in this situation that I had to go to the garden. And I realized I just walking here through these families, these houses, these villages, I just can live my dream, but they have no option to live a dream like this. So I started to feel actually a bit sad about it. And I was asking me, do I am allowed to do this? Just because I'm born in Switzerland and I have the option, I have the money, it's just possible. So it makes me very small and very thankful that I can do this. And I think I'm responsible now also to talk back at home that we are very, very lucky that we can go to school, that we have all this environment. We have to be thankful. Then we had a really good time. That was also it's not normal that we understand each other for such a long time. We were totally on the GHT was 130 days, but on the GHT high route, we did it in 89 days from the Kanchenjunga base camp to Hilsa, the complete trail. And interesting is you see how everything is changing. Yeah, when you start in the Kanchenjunga base camp, you see how the ethnic groups change, the people, the dresses, everything is changing, different languages, and this is something we really can learn from Nepal. That you can live together in one village, different groups, different religion, in peace, in freedom, in one village. Yeah. Christian or Buddhism, Hinduism, they live together. We had a good time. Sometimes we had also discussion, but I realized that if there is a problem, we discuss it and we make a line and we continue. And it's not only a trekking or just walking 2 weeks Kombu or like this, yeah? It's life teaching. It's really life teaching what we have done. To work in a team, huh? We had in the last 2 weeks a bit problems. For example, I missed this part from Lumba Sumba to Chukum in the Zolu, so we missed that part. And Sanjeev said when we were before Hilsa, Maria, we have enough time. We walked without a rest day for more than 70 days, no rest. And he said, now we have time to go back there and do this part. And in China, in this Shaolin temple, our Shifu, our Kung Fu master, we had to do some rounds in the temple. For example, basket carrying with full of water. And, after I was like this, after a few steps, and I just continued to walk. And he said, no. You do your round right. Finish it right. If you cannot, then you... we gave him some painkiller, and I just realized that there's one point in life, it's not in your hand. There's the nature, there's the luck, who decides? And we were very lucky that I'm, for example, not hit by head, and that you are sitting here today, yeah. So, and that is one situation. It makes me, in the end, when we reached Namche and Lukla, when we finished the trail, I was not like, yes, I did it, happy or excited. No, I was just getting really quiet and thankful that everything went well. It's not normal. This is really life teaching, the GHT, to walk this part. Yeah.
तपाईँहरू लिइरहनु भयो सरीलाई हामीले सुरु गरिसकेको छ प्लिज फ्लोर इज ओपन इफ यु हेभ एनी क्वेसन्स अबाउट जिएसटी मैले हजुरलाई हिजो राति फोन गराएको थिएँ हजुर 1708 किलोमिटर चाहिँ उसले जिपिएसमा ट्र्याक गरेर चाहिँ आउनुहुन्छ 11 समथिङ 11 सो 1700 किलोमिटर जिएसटी यो चाहिँ भिलेज टु भिलेज नभइकन यो चाहिँ हाई रुटमा रहेछ अनि मैले हामीले यो चाहिँ किन गर्नु भने चाहिँ 2020 मा चाहिँ हामीले
Times you had to ask for the way. Yeah. For example, Sanjeev used the GPS before Tilman Pass. It's very, very difficult to find the way to the Tilman Pass. We even get lost a bit, but thankful that you had your GPS, we found the way. Yeah. So I think this is very, very important that you know about the way. For example, Tilman, there were like some, how to say, poles? Like trail marking, but you cannot see it. You cannot see it.
Tilman Pass, Lantangma पर्छ डेन्जरस पास
So there is 3 days before is the last village, or 2 days, it depends how fast you walk, and 3 days after there is coming the next village, or 2 days, it depends how fast you walk. So if you are there alone or with a group and you lost, that's a big problem. It's really a big problem.
So I have just 2 more questions. Can one make a solo trek over the Great Himalayan Trail? And next is, so after being in Switzerland, you are going back to Switzerland, and you might have been in touch with many of your friends. So what have they said about your trek? So are they willing, or what have they said to you?
Yeah, the first question about solo, in my opinion, it's not possible.
Never possible.
Without guide. I know that people do it without guide, but this is a question for me personally of respect. I'm not from here. I don't know the conditions in these mountains. So this is, yeah, it has to happen with respect. I have to have a guide who knows the language. For example, we could talk with locals about their story, how they live, about the family, everything. Alone, I never get these stories because I don't understand the language. And for, let's say, one example, you go over the 3 high passes, Sherpanikol, Westkol, and Mulaptsa. You have to carry all the food for 6 days, maybe? Yeah. The tent, everything. I'm alone, can't do that. So also without porters, for me, impossible. Then, is that answer for the question? Yeah. Then the second one about when I go home, yeah, a lot of people, they following me on this trekking, and they always say, I can't do that. Maybe I wish, but I can't. But I'm sure if you will, and if you have the willpower and say, I want to do this, you can do this. But you have to really want to do it from your heart, not just because people are interested in it and you are doing, they say, oh, you did it alone. I said, no. This is not a one-woman show. I had a big team. I had porters and I had Sanjeev. And I had Dava who found Sanjeev. Yeah? So without all these people, impossible.